All right, welcome back inside the Fountain Blue on behalf of Netflix. We're getting ready for the big fight this weekend with Canelo versus Crawford. Can't wait to be at Allegiant Stadium coming up on Saturday night. And a man with all of his fingerprints on it, and also he runs the UFC. He is the president of the UFC, and Dana White. Dana, great to see you. How you been?
Thanks. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Big Miami football fan these days.
Yeah, I'm
all
in.
about the U.
Yep.
How'd that come about?
My daughter
wow.
is a Hurricane now, so I'm in.
You know,
went to the Notre Dame game. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great game, and we always obviously we know you running the UFC. That's how most of us recognize you. To have that experience, right? Your daughter now in college, you becoming a Miami football fan. Just how awesome is that as a dad?
It is awesome because a couple of things. First of all, I'm a huge Celtics Patriots guy. Red Sox. I've never been a big fan of a college team. So both my sons played football, and my son played at USD, and we used to go to the Clemson football camps, so we were Clemson fans because we loved the coaches, and then Coach Venables ends up going to OU and head coaching there, but we've never been really part of a college football team before, and now we are. Yeah,
you're kind of right on that because us Northeast guys, I now talk college football 5 days a week, and I went to Temple in Philly. They were good when I was there. Deion Dawkins, who I know loves the UFC, it was a fraternity brother of mine back in college.
Awesome.
But now doing the college stuff, you start rooting for Michigan. Matt rules at Nebraska, so we'll have some fun there. But, man, it was impressive what they did up against Notre Dame.
Well, just the culture, too. When we got there, we went up into the president's suite, and DeSantis was up there, and all these people are there. And a good friend of mine who's actually in the MMA business, his name's Dan Lambert. He's like one of the great guys in the sport. He's always taking care of fighters that fight for him, and he's a good human being, and he's got a great box there. So it's parents' weekend this weekend. So, my wife is down there right now. She's going to go to the game this weekend too. They're playing Southern Florida, but yeah, we're part of the Hurricane family now.
I remember years ago because I really got into the UFC when COVID was happening because it was the only thing on, and it was unbelievable. And I remember you said to me, just go to an event and let me know what you think afterwards. And I remember we had this conversation where I walked out, I thought it was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. So when you go to a college football game or an NFL game, what do you kind of do? How do you kind of take it in? Are you thinking on the creative side of what you could maybe take from their sport and implement it into the UFC?
Always. And this is what's weird about me. I love NFL. I love football. I mean, when football season starts, it's incredible. Every Sunday, great games. Me and my family just watched the Bills game.
Yeah, incredible.
Right? Unbelievable game. And my son played, so a lot of his friends, Puka Nacua grew up in our house, you know what I mean? Dalton Kincaid lived with us during COVID. And the list goes on and on. Caillou, who's playing here now in Vegas. So when I go, I love football on TV. I don't love it as much live, Now, the NBA, I'm a Celtics fan. I love Celtics games live. NBA games live, especially if you're sitting on courtside.
Makes it a little bit different.
It's incredible. Yeah. NBA on TV, you tune in the last 5 minutes of the game. You know what I mean?
I have a buddy, Jeff, who has season tickets for the Knicks right behind the bench. And you sit there on the floor right behind the bench, totally different experience. And this is how I know I'm getting older, as Dana White is here with us, when my uncle's from Framingham. So he would take us to Patriot games, even though I'm from Long Island. He would take us to Patriot games. And when I was a kid, I loved going to football games. Still do love going to football games. But as you get a little bit older, I kind of see what my dad and my uncle have been talking about. It's kind of more enjoyable when you do watch football nowadays on TV.
Football's great on TV. It's an incredible experience. In your house, watching TV. You can jump from game to game. But I love the NBA live.
Dana White's boxing vision is what? Getting into this world, what do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, I want to change a lot of things as far as production goes. Right now, when you watch any of these fights, they'll have one fight, then they have a podcast. Then they have another fight, and then they have a podcast. And, the night drags out. The undercards are terrible. Like the UFC, when you watch them, every fight matters, from the first fight of the night to the main event, and the night goes boom, 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 boom. We go from fight to fight to fight. I want to change that. I want to change, the undercards meaning something. And everybody's undefeated in boxing because they don't fight anybody, right? Going to get all these undefeated people to fight each other earlier on, start building stars and make boxing excited again. I want to, and if you think about it right now, there's no television deals right now for boxing. DAZN has some fights. Other than that, there's no television deals. I'm going to go out and get a good television deal too.
So my generation, and I'm only 31, we have never really gravitated towards boxing. We're more UFC fans.
Right. That was my plan for you guys. Believe me, I've been working on that.
Fury Wilder, though, was the one fight where I was all in on.
Yep.
Pacquiao Mayweather. I
went to that one live. I'm with you.
It was awesome. How do you get my generation, since it's worked with the UFC, how do you get my generation to be all in on boxing?
So guess what we're noticing on this fight? So, we do UFC Embedded. You know what that is?
No.
We follow the guys around, and every day in real time we put up
the video clips,
story clips.
Yeah,
exactly. And it pulls killer numbers for us. We're doing it right now for boxing, and the numbers are low. And it makes sense because they have an older fan base. Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing. That's my big goal. I'm going to use a lot of the things that I do in my other businesses to get the younger demo into boxing again.
I've never been to a boxing match. Saturday is the first time I'm going to be there. And I remember we had this conversation when I first went to the UFC. Let me know what you think at the end of the night. Yep. How do you think I'm going to think of the event when I walk out on Saturday night with your fingerprints on?
Here's what I guarantee you. The television production is going to be awesome, right? What I'm focused on and what I'm worried about is the live in-house production. This is what we have to nail on Saturday. So I would love your feedback on Sunday or Monday.
No, I'll definitely give it to you. Dana White here with us. So last time we talked, it was after the fight in Chicago, and we were in the media room, and you told me it's 1,000,000,000 to odds that Jon Jones will be on the White House card. I have one big regret.
Yep.
I didn't ask you if I could put $5 down on it. If I'm just being honest. Is the Dana White Casino open?
You can still put $5 down on it, believe me.
Have the odds got worse for Jon Jones to be on that fight
well,
card?
Listen, Jon Jones was obviously saying all the right things, and, he reached out to me and apologized and all this stuff. But Jon Jones, to this day, I'll still say it. People always criticize and whatever. They're wrong, and I'm right. Jon Jones is the greatest of all time in mixed martial arts. But what he's not the greatest at is delivering, he's not my clutch guy that I know is going to be there and not pull out. And people talk lots of smack about Conor McGregor. I know more than everybody else knows about every fighter that's ever fought in the UFC. And publicly, guys like to talk a mean game, and girls. And then behind the scenes, it's a whole nother ballgame on what they want to really do and who they want to really fight. Conor McGregor has always been that guy. Somebody can fall out 2 hours before the fight, and you know what he'll say? Let me know who I'm fighting when you figure it out. He doesn't care. He doesn't care who you're bringing in. You can bring in the nastiest person that matches up completely. It's a bad matchup for him. He does not care, and he has always been that guy. And people can say what they want about Conor. That's a fact.
What are the odds? Because it sounds pretty good. What are the odds that McGregor is on the White House card?
I don't know what the odds are. A lot of things have to happen from now till then, and we won't really start making the card till February. But I can tell you this. Conor has been very consistent in his wanting to be on this card and doing all the right things to try to be on this card. So, if you want to lay, $5 down, I'd throw it on Conor before I'd throw it on anybody else.
Wrap it up with Dana White, the president of the UFC. Obviously got his fingerprints all over this Netflix fight coming up this weekend, Canelo versus Crawford. Is it definitely July 4th, 2026? Because we had Anik on earlier, and he was like, he's reading some things online that maybe it's in June. But as you've told me before, who the heck knows what you read online these days?
That is true, but that one's probably right. It's more likely to be June than July. The president wanted to do it July 4th. The president didn't realize how stacked his schedule is on July 4th. He's in he's going to be in 3 different states that day. So we're looking more like June. But once I get it, we're in the very early stages. We went out and presented to him. He was blown away by it. Ivanka was blown away by it. And we're rolling now.
In our world, right, doing a national radio show, NFL, college football, it's so much of what we're talking about. I'll tell you what I'm most excited for, though, coming up in October. the card that you guys have in October with Pereira, and then you also have Merab, and then even a guy like Joe Pyfer who needs to deliver a knockout this time, and there's other people that I'm forgetting. That, my buddies and I, we're already talking. We're like, we'll watch college football during the day Saturday, but then we're plastering all over the TV screens, the UFC. That card, to me, is the difference right now between boxing and the UFC.
Thank you. I agree with you. Wait to see Madison Square Garden. Wait to see that card.
I live in New York. Very excited for that one,
Wait to see that card, yeah. We got some fun stuff coming up at the end of the year.
Anything you just want to tell us about potentially on that MSG card?
I'm so focused on this Saturday, I probably couldn't even pull one fight off that card, but it's badass. Literally, what the hell was I doing yesterday? Oh, I was talking to the rankings guy. We're working on Meta now doing AI rankings for us. So we're deep in the middle of all that with Meta. And I was in there with those guys, and we were talking about rankings and all this. And I said, look over my shoulder. I said, look at this Madison Square Garden card. And the guy says, I've been staring at it the whole time we've been in this meeting. I said, I know. It's incredible.
Quick commute for me. All right, 2 more, and then we'll let you run. You talked about the behind-the-scenes stuff with the UFC. I think in some of those clips it's been wonderful for Hunter Campbell. Because someone asked me, they said, you talked to Dana a bunch. You've talked to a lot of these fighters. Who's one person you haven't interviewed that you would love to interview? I'm like, Hunter. I go, because I just don't know a lot about him other than he seems like to be this just guy behind the scenes who has all these great ideas. What do you think that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that you were talking about done for him? Because I've heard and seen more of him there than I've ever had before.
Yeah, so here's what happened. So Hunter Campbell was an intern at the UFC when he was going through college. And his dad was mine and the Fertitta's lawyer.
Huh.
So I actually went to his dad. When we sold, I went to his dad. I needed 2 things. I needed another matchmaker because Joe Silva left. So I went out and found Mick Maynard, which couldn't have worked out any more perfect than it did. Then we were looking for a new lawyer. So I called Hunter's dad and asked him because he was working for his firm. He said, I want to hire Hunter here. And he said, Hunter's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants to do. He wasn't happy about it, but he said Hunter's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. So I reached out to Hunter. He ended up wanting to do it. And the whole the head of the legal department thing didn't work out. So I brought him over to the fight side with me. And, it's worked out great. He loves it. He's passionate about the sport. And Mick, and Sean worked together incredibly. So it was a perfect fit.
Bringing up just food with you, because I can't let you go before we talk about a food point. I know in New York City you love Scout Nutella. You told us before. You were praising up some spot in Chicago. I forget the name of it, but I remember after that fight card, Miami, you got to go to Joe's Stone Crab. How about here I've been here 1,000 times, but where is the Dana White place to go that I have to go to before Sunday?
What type of food you want?
Dana.
All right.
I could do anything.
If you want to go, if you want Italian, go to Carbone's.
Okay.
You want
over Piero's?
Huh?
Carbone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carbone. You want steak? Go to Nico's over at Durango. You want Chinese food? Go to Wing Lei over at the Wynn. What am I leaving out? I got steak. I got Chinese. I got Italian.
That's pretty much. I'm only here till Sunday.
Yeah.
One last thing, just to follow up on something. You said Jon Jones called you, and he apologized. What was that conversation like?
Well, it wasn't a conversation. He reached out. He wrote, like a text saying, "Listen, sorry how this all played out or whatever. I want to fight at the White House. I'm serious about that, and just one of those type of."
Has that changed your view? No, not at all.
No.
So there's no chance he's going to be on the
I appreciate it. I appreciate him reaching out and doing that, but I need people I can count on for this fight, and I know who they are. I know who they are not.
Gotcha. Well said. Dana White, the president of the UFC, obviously. Make sure you check out on Saturday night, Netflix. You have Canelo versus Crawford. Thanks for coming on and doing this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.